Hey friends, no lake behind me. We came home yesterday, lovely trip, really easy. Annalise was a jewel, just a fun travel partner the entire time. And I got back, and pretty quickly, I'm in the vortex. A lot of the work and a lot of the information, the gifts, the insights, the things that have showed up over the past month have really. I feel like the eagle has landed. I kind of hit the ground running. I woke up this morning after a good sleep, but my body was like, boing, let's get to it. And my mind just started running, and I felt myself feeling an urgency to start to move. You know, this is a phase transition that I know is not. It's not a lightweight one. I think it's a big one. I was talking about this with my wife the other day, and the hard part of it is, at least right now, I don't know the how. I don't know what it's going to look like. I have a set of emotional and spiritual, I would call them, kind of principles and impressions that do guide me. I do know how to find a state, and I know how to pursue an energetic trajectory. That's stuff I know how to do from all the work I've ever done, basically. But what I do next, practically, physically, professionally, what happens with this injury, which has caused a kind of instability in my hand that I have to reckon with somehow. I haven't really been able to practice piano. I need to get it looked at. I know there's a gift there, and the gift has already been given. I felt that I described it in Michigan. I could tell that this was a nudge in a very important direction. But there's still some fear there. There's still some questions there. So I had a lot showing up this morning. It's been a full morning, and it's not even 8 a.m. So I think the provocation that I'm giving myself, the challenge, but also on one level simply the task, is to spend time every day doing that sort of pursuit of an energetic trajectory, the vision work, the creating some clarity about what am I really going to do, and then stepping into action from there, taking action steps that cut off pathways that could distract. Because that's one of my liabilities, I would say, as a person, is I have a strength. One of my strengths, I would say, is I can really lock into a kind of momentum, a trajectory, a forward movement. And I can really hang on to a project or a goal in a tenacious way. But I can do that whether or not the goal is particularly significant or beneficial or even aligned with my deeper purpose. I can invest and really kind of go all the way for a goal that if I questioned it, I might go, wait, what? and that's so in other words, there's a fear in me that I've identified of choosing choosing an alignment. There's a fear of choosing an alignment of my deeper self, and I think I've been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of cosmic feedback about that recently, because the universe has a pretty reliable mechanism for, if you're not getting that alignment, if you're not locking in, it will start to help you. It'll start to cut off other paths, and we are still free agents. We can still try to go against the grain of the universe, but we're not gonna win. And there's a kind of, why would you do that arises. So, I feel like I'm in the vortex. I feel like I'm in the next phase. Even as I got up to do my yoga this morning, my daily routine that I have done for 500 and some days now without missing. It's in my app. But it felt different. It didn't. I was like, oh, this isn't the same. Nothing about this is the same. And that's a good thing. It's kind of a scary thing, but it's a good thing. So, I think there's some writing in my future. I think that's one of the ways that as I think Julia Cameron says, bring clarity to the act of living. And there may be some new kinds of work, professional work, and professional exploration that comes my way. That sort of, and that's the part I can't anticipate, or I don't know the how, and I don't know the details of it. I just know here's where my energy wants to take me. If I go with that, it's going to make proposals quickly. There's going to be like, okay, try this, or okay, go here, or call this person. And that's where the rubber really is going to meet the road. That's where it's going to be how aptly and how quickly can you make some of these adjustments? Can you go for it with this new path? So that's where I'm at. On some level, I'm conscious on this post of being, I've always had a kind of a, I've described many, many times what the post is about for me, and about how it's really an opportunity and a kind of a daily practice of bringing the highest vantage point that I can muster to my life, viewing my life, viewing my today, this moment, this phase, from the point of view of knowing that everything is a gift from the universe, and that everything is evolving us, that every single moment is exactly as it needs to be, and that there's a kind of deep listening to the cosmic information stream that will inevitably expand us and create forward movement in our lives. That's been the way I've used this, by going there and talking out loud about the kind of deepest elements of my life that I have access to on any given day. A huge amount of insight shows up. I'm able to capture a lot more of the information that's coming in. When I go to a place like now, and when I'm in a place like I am now, I almost have a sense of like, but I'm so almost lost in a way. There's a sense of like kind of not having a ton of clarity, and that makes me, that gives me a feeling of there's another should in there for me. I should have this clarity. I should have an enlightened perspective on this. But one of the things I have to just concede for myself is, oh well, the perspective that you have today is what you got. This is what you got. And if the practice truly is bring what you've got and share it from the highest place you can find right now, then I gotta be willing to accept days when it's not that high, when my view is not that bird's eye, I mean, the psychologists talk about regression in service of the ego. They talk about needing to kind of drop out of our high functioning, sophisticated, highly developed perspective and just cope with something. A lot of times they'll talk about it as a way of healing trauma. To go back to the place where that traumatic event, even though now it might seem kind of insignificant or not scary, but you got to go back to the place in yourself where it did, and almost like peel off our higher perspective so that we can truly get in touch with that original event, that original traumatic event, deal with it anew, face it anew, feel it fully anew, and then integrate it. It's not that we give up that higher perspective forever, we just give it up for a little while. Well, that's what I sometimes feel like I'm doing right now. Something in me is unresolved, and I've got to let some of the higher perspective go and just be on the ropes and a little, in the vortex. So, I've said that 3 times. I think that's the title of this video. But that's where I am, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. I look forward to sharing where this goes next. Much love. Have a great day. See you soon.